Here in McCrosson's Mill in Urella, and I found a really interesting story here. It's the story of Thunderbolt, and it begins in this wonderful set of paintings done by Philip Pomeroy, and it tracks the whole story right round. I won't tell you the whole story, you've got to come and find that out for yourself. But I'll pick it up here where the pursuit takes, everybody loves a good pursuit, and Philip Pomeroy's captured the spirit of the excitement of it. Here's the policeman, he's out of uniform, a man called Walker, and he goes Thunderbolt on his horse. He's on his way at it, and the story moves on to where eventually the horse kind of slows down, and the constable catches up. Here's Thunderbolt trying to swim away across the creek, just outside Urella here. He's struggling. The policeman's coming around to outflank him. And in the final paintings over here, the bushranger's out of bullets, and it's a sort of el mano sort of scene with the constable and the bushranger. Actually, Thunderbolt wasn't given to shooting people, so he gives him a chance. Says, "Are you married? Let's not do this." The constable says, "No, it's you and me," and so he's already shot the horse. He can't get away, and the famous scene in the creek where Constable Walker finishes off Thunderbolt, and that's the end of his 35-year life and the end of his 16-year run. It was the longest bushranging career in Australia. Here on the busy New England highway, and behind me you can see the statue of none other than Thunderbolt the bushranger. He had a 16-year career which stretched from down near Rutherford in Maitland out to Burke, up to the New England, the other side of the border there almost. Strange thing about Australians, we like stories about bushrangers. Somehow we sort of see the romance of it, and even in those days some people favoured them, but most people sort of saw them as thieves really. They rode in and stole people's stuff, stole their horses and so on. But there's a story behind this story, and when we go down to the graveyard and we'll see his grave, I'll tell you the other side of this story of Thunderbolt, the bushranger. We're at Thunderbolts Grave, and on the grave you'll see the name Mary. The story is that both of them were children of convicts. She was part Aboriginal. She was educated in Sydney at school, and he less educated, had a lot of bush skills. And you sort of feel like they're very typical of the early part of the last century where they had to make their own way, and he got on the wrong side of the law when he was young, went to Cockatoo Island, and that was a pretty tough place to be. He was released once, came back again, put back in jail again, so I think he kind of developed a bitter spirit towards the law and felt like he was on the fringe of things, and she too, somewhere between the two cultures. So you get these people making up life as they went along, using their bush skills, and in the process robbing people, harassing people, even though he was a gentleman, and his middle name was Wordsworth, of all things, the English poet. So obviously there's some sort of expression of culture or something in their backgrounds, but here they are, they become bushrangers. They even went to Burke. She was captured by the Burke policeman, Sergeant Cleary. She was so ferocious they let her go. But finally, as we told the story up at the museum, he met his end not far from here. And we're going to go down to the big rock, which sort of become his big symbol on the edge of Urella. Here at Thunderbolts Rock, he had two hold-ups here at least, just outside Urella. I thought about this story, it's coming up to Easter, and I thought it's amazing, you know, the story of Jesus, that at his trial, he was considered an outlaw. There were wanted posters up all over the country for him. His religious enemies were after him. And when the trial came, the Roman governor gave the people a choice. Do you want Jesus or do you want Barabbas, who was sort of a freedom fighter, popular figure, and probably a little bit like Thunderbolt, he had that sort of aura. And, well, the story goes that the crowd chose Barabbas and Jesus was crucified. So in some ways there's little parallels with this story, that we sort of make the thief and the wild man, the romantic figure, our hero, and we sort of put the other people aside. But as history's shown, Barabbas is pretty much only remembered because of Jesus. Jesus' story, of course, has grown and grown and grown, and as Easter reminds us, all around the world, it's filling the world. So there's a little edge.